Okay, let's begin with removing the shroud. Well, you'll find that if you try to unscrew the shroud, you'll end up twisting the barrel, and there's a little brass holder that goes into the block. Now you need to apply some heat to this section there to break the Loctite, which will allow you to unscrew the shroud. You'll see a lot of guys using these. They're not ideal really because they don't give enough heat. What they end up doing, this section here will just act like a heat sink, and it will draw away the heat from where you need it to. So don't be scared. Apply some heat. You're not going to do any damage. So heat it up, both sides. And then you'll find it should unscrew nice and easily. As you can see, there's all the Loctite is on there. In here is a small grub screw, which will allow this to slide. For the front here, again, on UNF thread, they apply Loctite. So in order to spin this section off, again, apply some heat. Using a punch or a nice rounded tool, will just allow you to crack it off. Now be careful, because this will be hot. And again, this one will be hot. There you go. That's the shroud completely removed. Now what we're going to do, we're going to remove the barrel. So if you undo your two plastic cheek pieces, you'll find this little grub screw here. Now this is where these come in handy, because it allows you to concentrate heat in a small area. So what you're looking to do to heat up that grub screw there, because you do find that they have Loctite on them as well. Doesn't need a lot, just enough to break the seal, using the right size Allen key. You can remove the grub screw, and that's the only thing holding the barrel in. Now if you look down there carefully, you'll see a little indentation on the brass collar. Now you should be able to, with a little twist, just working it nice and gently, remove your barrel. Now if you look here, you'll see that someone has tried to twist the shroud off without heating it up to break the lock thread, and what they've done, they've actually twisted this brass collar, and it's that grub screw that has gouged out this brass section here, so this will have to be machined up. Next we're going to remove the rail. This is a Picatinny that I opted to put on. I prefer Picatinny over a dovetail, so it's just two Allen screws. Make sure the action is secured nicely in a vise, and it just pops off that easy. There's two little sections that slide. Done. Okay, next we're going to remove the connecting rod for the trigger. Undo this section. This is for the stock screw. Remove that. Just going to put the stock screw back in. Out of the way. Now, using some long nose pliers or these circuit pliers, what you want to do, you just want to prise apart, which will allow you to split that open, and you can take it off the card. And then we're going to undo the 4 bolts. That allows this action to come loose. So for the side lever, you'll have 2 small Allen screws there. You need to undo them. Now, if you find that they're tight, apply a small amount of heat. With them off, you should be able to slide the section off. Right, now what we're going to do, we are going to take the cylinder off. Now what FX do, they conveniently give you a brass screw here, which acts as a bleed. All you're going to do is just gently crack that off until you hear it to start to bleed. Just allow that to bleed. Right, to remove your fill valve and gauge assembly, remove the dust cap. Again, find a punch or a nice size screwdriver, or even a piece of rod. Providing your vise is locked up nice and secure, you should be able to just unscrew. There you go, there's that section. And then the other side, which will give you access to the regulator. Okay, what you'll have here is 2 small holes in the end piece there. Okay, so what we're going to do, I've got these 2 nice little pins that just pop in here. Put that back in the vise. Just take an adjustable, slide it over the 2 pins, and then you should be able to just crack. There you go. Just break the seal. Pull the pins out of the way. And then unscrew this. there is a doughty seal there, which seals this part onto the block. Right, in there is your regulator. Now you do have a spacing collar there. Just tap it out, put that to one side, and then for your regulator in there, what I like to do is take some forceps, and what you need to do, you need to grab hold of the nut inside and withdraw. There's your regulator. Let me just move the camera over here. Right, if you're lucky, this connecting rod will unscrew. Put that to one side. Right, underneath, take a 10mm spanner or socket. Remove the screw with the doughty seal, and then take a 15mm spanner or a socket, and you can remove this part here which connects the cylinder to the block. And you'll have a seal there as well. This is your valve. Right, now I've got a socket. Right, that's your valve spring. That's your valve. Put that to one side safely. And then you have this section here, which you can find the correct size and then you can spin that off. Sometimes these have Loctite on, you just need to heat them up. This had Loctite, but it wasn't too tight. That's that section there. Right, now on to the more tricky part. What we do, we'll start on the back here. This is what they call their anti-tamper plug. It's not really anti-tamper because it's very easy to remove. I've had this apart before, just to show you, if you haven't had yours apart, apply heat. Using the right size screwdriver. So that's just a cap, a blank cap. And in here, disregard this little fibre washer here. That was just what I put in there. It just helps the cap lock on tight. You will then have access to your Allen key, sorry, the brass, which has an Allen grab, and that will wind your hammer out. So you have a small steel washer there, and that's your spring. Put that to one side. Just going to take out that brass nut which we used to bleed off earlier. Right, and then this is where it gets interesting. You need to remove this part of the trigger. You will find that these are very hard to get off. You will have to use a little bit of heat to break the thread, but my one is okay. I've had it off plenty of times for testing. Now apply pressure downwards at this point, because there is a small spring underneath and we don't want it flying off. So remove the small screw. That's your plate. It's probably a good time to just to mark which way is forward of the block, and then remove that spring. Onto the side plate, which gives you access to your magazine indexing arm. Again, apply some pressure down while you take these screws out, because there's another spring under there. The plate should just lift off, and there's that small spring. That sits on that little pin there. Just be able to lift up the magazine indexing arm. If you watch one of my earlier videos, I showed you how to completely polish this up. As you can see, mine is to a very high standard. Right, in here is a small grub screw which is connected to the pallet probe. That needs to come out. Let me just find the right size. Again, if you find it's too tight, use a little bit of heat and it should make all of the screws come out easier. So that's removed. Put that to one side. And then underneath you'll have 1, 2 and 3 pins here. On the pin at the back, number 3, there is a small trigger sear in here. If you carefully push the pin out, I might have to give this one a little tap. That's the pin. So that's your hammer. That's your pellet probe, and this is the part that that connecting rod screws into inside the block. As you can see, all of mine have been clean and polished up and they're nice and smooth. Them two just pull away. There's a small pin which connects them two together. And that's as far as you really need to go with the block. I'll show you on another video how to take the rest of your trigger sears out and polish them up.